Are we going live now? We have still not gone live. Who is going to help us go live? Chalo, let's start. Good morning to all. I would like to welcome all the teachers, dignitaries, officials from Ministry of MOE, CBSE, NCERT, principals across teachers across the country for today's session on culture of innovation in our schools. Today is 10th of September, which is also Ganesh Chaturthi. In Maharashtra, we celebrate in big way. I think in other parts of the country also it is celebrated. But here, when we are talking about Lord Ganesh, which symbolizes intellectual integrity, which symbolizes learning, which symbolizes knowledge, I think there cannot be a better day to talk about innovation, startup, entrepreneurship culture within our school. This session is equally very important is because of the new education policy where there is huge stress on innovation and entrepreneurship. We need to ensure that we establish the culture of ideation and innovation within our educational institutes. Till date, we were more focused on grades and marks, and we used to chase them. But now, we want schools, we want educational institutes to chase ideas. We have to get away from this rote learning system, this swallow and vomit kind of a mechanism, which we have developed over a period of 70 years. And I believe from that perspective, this webinar is going to be extremely critical, because if you really look at Bloom's taxonomy pyramid, due to this swallow and vomit kind of a system, our students are stuck at recitation and understanding layers, which are the lowermost layers in Bloom's taxonomy. And hardly of them actually progress to evaluate and create. So if we have to really excel, then we need to ensure that we push our students, we push our faculty members to think out of the box and encourage them to emerge as problem solvers. Because currently we are looking at $5 trillion economy. And if we have to achieve that $5 trillion economic goal, then we have to emerge as knowledge-based society, as knowledge-based economy. And when we say we have to emerge as knowledge-based society or knowledge-based economy, it means that we have to generate ideas. We have to generate ideas not just for this country, but we have to generate ideas which will have global impact. And if we have to do that, then the culture within our educational institutes needs a tectonic shift, and where we actually encourage our youngsters, our students to think out of box, to think wide, and eventually convert their good ideas into projects, into prototypes, then taking them forward into startups. And eventually that will lead to job creation. We have to create a generation which is now job creators and not job seekers. So from all this perspective, this session is going to be extremely critical. And today, we have with us 4-5 very distinguished speakers. My co-chair is Arunabh Singh. He is the director of Nehru World School and will share some interesting insights about how he is pursuing, how he is pushing entrepreneurship amongst his students at a very early stage. My next presenter is Miss Rupa Chakravarti. She is the director in Sun City Group of Schools. And she is working enormously on design thinking, problem solving approaches, and how they can be developed within our children. So I think her presentation is also going to be very, very interesting. Another guest, a very, very interesting guest, and you will be very happy to hear to him, is Manish Jain from IIT Gandhinagar. He's really fond of toys, and he's conceptualizing large number of toys which can help in pedagogy. So you will really enjoy his again presentation. Then we have Santosh Kumar. He's an assistant teacher and has done some really innovative experiments in pedagogy, in teaching. And I am certain that you will learn from some of these experiments which he has carried out and would like to implement in our schools. And finally, we have a very, very young, dynamic Anil Pradhan, who recently got National Youth Award for his really hands-on, creative, problem-solving approach, which he is taking in rural schools, in schools which are not in city, but in outskirts. And his team has won bronze medal at the competition organized by NASA. So I think you will have a treat really today, where you will listen to some excellent presentations. Then after these presentations, we will go with question answer session. And finally, we will have some closing remarks. So I believe that this is going to be an extremely exciting session for all of you. So let's start. I will request Arunabh Singh to give his opening remarks. Arunabh, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. You have spoken about all the keywords that I was planning to pick up in the 5 or something minutes that I have at hand. But I'm really happy to know the head of innovation of the country is talking about ideation, is talking about Bloom's taxonomy, wants students to go to creativity, and would like them to become problem solvers and job creators. We've been doing something on similar lines at Nehru World School. And but before I go there, I was reminded of this conversation. A father came to me and said his child was in grade 2. He says, "I've come here just to tell you this one thing, that yesterday my son asked me this question, Papa, do you know what is demand and supply?" And he said, "No, I really don't know what demand and supply is. You tell me." And he says, "Well, you see, I used to go to this shop earlier and they would have this toffee sometimes and sometimes they wouldn't. But then I told my friends that this shop has that toffee. And then more of my friends went to him. And this time I saw that he had a full rack of those toffees in his shop. Papa, I think there is a relationship between demand and supply." And he said, "Well, I didn't see this in his books. Where are you teaching this?" And I said, "Well, actually, we're not teaching this in curriculum. In curriculum, we will talk about this in a chapter in economics in middle school. But as of right now, I think these are things that he's learning running his own business." So I request the admin to please present my slides. So in the school, we run this program called Startup Superstars, where every child from grade 1 in the school has to run a business of their own. Next slide, please. And as they run this business, so every child is not just part of running the business, they have to generate their original idea. So our school starts in April. That's where every year this program gets announced. And students are given a template to submit a business idea. And a first grader, mind you, is just learning to write and hasn't yet learned how to plus and minus and the other functions of maths. So when he's going to be making a sale, grade 2 and grade 3 students would be sitting on the till to actually do the maths on the sale day. But you try to get something from a first grader for free, and he's not going to give it to you. So in April, they get a template to submit a business idea. They submit their business ideas in May, do discussions on it in the classroom, break for summers, and come back with the prototype of, if this is a product, then they would come up with the prototype of that product. If it is a service, then they would come up with explored plans of what the service is going to be. Then the class votes, and one business is decided as the class business for that year, and they would run it till December and then submit an annual report, and then we would do the awards. The next slide, please. Now, as soon as something like this is happening, there are a lot of challenges that a school starts to face with regards to parents saying, well, who's going to pay up for this? The next slide, please. So we built a safety net where we say the school is putting in 20,000 rupees of startup capital. And if you make a profit as a class, you decide what you do with the profit. If you make a loss, then you just give us a loss balance sheet, and the school will not ask for the loss. We will, whatever money is left, we'll just go back to that account so that we can run it in the next year. Now, this has really helped us get the parents on board. And I believe for any innovation to be really successful, it has to be scalable. And I think this really makes this scalable for us. The next slide, please. I'm actually in the last 1 minute of my presentation. So we're seeing that children are really serious about this. Their detailed business plans are much more detailed than their usual homeworks. And they're not even giving discounts to teachers. So they really mean it. And they're already planning for what their businesses would be next year. So we know that this is working for us. The next slide, please. And as we see this happen, what we also realize is that children are learning to plan ahead for themselves. This is stuff that they're going to need if they eventually decide to become startups or run their own businesses. They are starting to expect the unexpected and learn to live with the losses. The next slide. And we would hope that we are able to continue doing this and expand on this. There's a 29-pager booklet that we've made for any school that would like to run this program in their own schools. We are quite happy to share it pro bono. The more schools that use a program like this, the more students would benefit. And the next slide. So this was a business that students did where they set up a library. And this another child, 1 grade younger, saw, well, I have books at home. And if their class library can make them money, why will not, my books not make me money? So he carried all his books in his bag. The parent complained that your school bag is heavy. We opened the school bag and found that he was running a business on his own, carrying it on his backpack. Clearly, he was adapting and improving the businesses that he was seeing around him. So we know that we're actually instilling this curiosity in our students. And the next slide, please. And unexpected things that we've learned from this. There was a mother who came to us, first grader, and she said, from the profit of the class decided 2 pencils and erasers could be bought for everybody in the class. So that's what they did. And when this child brought back these 2 pencils and an eraser, he tells his mother, "Isko dhyan se rakhna, ye mera hai." So this value for money and something that you worked for was surprising for us that a first grader, a 6-year-old, is able to understand that. This gives us reason to continue working on this project. And the next slide, perhaps my last for the day. And yes, so this is our profit and loss statement. A total of 31 businesses were run. This is pre-pandemic. 25 made a profit with money. 6 made a money loss, but the amount of learning that happened, there was a class that shared that we'd done a lot of marketing, bought our pots that were printed, but did not buy it. till a week before, and it rained, and the pot prices went up. So now our MRP displayed all around school could not be changed. We sold a lot because our marketing worked, but because we had not sourced product in time, and thus our cost went up, so we made a loss on every sale. Now, this is not something I could have taught that class in any other way. So kids are super excited about this, and we are seeing excitement all around. And we hope that we are able to help other schools run programs like these. And it'll be awesome if we can have some of these businesses patented, maybe, or be put on online e-commerce platforms. We've tried to work with some, but they say, well, because your producers are not 18 years old yet, we can't register them on the platform. But we are trying to work around that solution, that problem for our students. Let's hope soon it could probably see the digital India as well. But thank you very much for listening to me. For speakers who are speaking after me, my one most sincere advice to you or request from you would be, when you present your ideas, also share with us how other schools who are probably not as well resourced as yours are can actually at least attempt to run programs like yours. Thank you very much once again for listening to me. I've only overrun by 2 minutes. I'll catch up in the question answer round. Thank you.
Thank you, Arnab. It was a very, very exciting presentation. I think I'm very keen on sitting with you and how we can actually roll this out across the country. We can certainly have the discussion post this webinar. But now I will request Rupaji to start with her presentation and how she is implementing design thinking ideas and problem solving concepts within her kids, her children. Sure. Rupa, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Abhay Jere. Namaskar to everyone. It's an absolute pleasure and privilege to be speaking through this forum which the Ministry of Education has organized. I would like to thank them. I would also like to thank CBSE and especially Mr. R.P. Singh for being the coordinator of this particular panel that has been set up today. NCRT and Madam Ahuja for coordinating. Thank you so much. So there is a very relevant saying in Sanskrit, and it is Samayak Sarati Iti Sansaram. And it means the world is ever evolving. Next slide, please. If the world is evolving, the most important thing that we require is change. Change is inevitable. Change is fundamental to growth. And like they say, change is the only constant. We need to ask ourselves, are we ready for change? And for that, I'm going to do a very small activity, and I request everybody to be a part of it. Could you all fold your hands across your chest, please, your arms? Next slide, please. Yes, in this manner. Of course, no prizes for guessing which one is me. All right, now put your arms down and do it the other way. The one which was above, put it below, and which was below, put it above. For Dr. Jere, it was very easy because he did it in a very refined way. But if you do it the way that I have done it, it becomes very difficult to do it because we get into a habit. There's a focus that we require, and there is also a requirement of effort. And sometimes this is what happens when we need to move into innovation and creativity. We get into the groove of the habit that we have developed over the years. NEP, National Education Policy, an absolute, radical, relevant, robust document, has been gifted to us by this committee led by Dr. Kasturi Rangan. I had the privilege of meeting him last year in Udaipur. And we need to first start with what is the purpose of education. Well, I guess you'll have a lot of things to say, and I'm also bound with time. But if we click, we can put all of the aims that you have for education, whether it be to become stronger for our children or whatever. The main aim is to prepare the children for the real world, like we just had Dr. Arunav Singh say, preparing them for the real world. And you know, we adults find it difficult to change, but not so with children. They are extremely flexible, extremely adaptable. And the reason for it is only one: curiosity. They have innate curiosity, epistemic curiosity, जिज्ञासा, जिसे जिज्ञासा कहते हैं. उनमें इतना जिज्ञासा है कि सब कुछ वो जानना चाहते हैं. And it is funny that Albert Einstein said that it is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education. He also said, I have no special talent. I am just passionately curious. And that is why children are much more innovative and much more creative. If we as adults keep that childlike curiosity, then we are sure to get that change. This is no rocket science. It all begins over here. And for that, there is a lot of innovation and creativity required with a mindset. And a curious mind will always want to do more. Next, please. Hence, at Sun City School, some of the habits that we've put into place is ask. And ask is the methodology, but we began with the thought of innovation in our infrastructure. Because I am the founder principal, 15 long years, this being the 16th year, we came up with the first multiple intelligence learning hub in our school. That was the infrastructure. So it is the mindset, and that we started with the infrastructure. And I feel happy to say that it has been featured in the University of Cambridge Guide to Excellence, wherein the best 100 practices from around the globe of schools, colleges, and universities feature. The next, this was being set up, I thought, what about the pedagogy? So curiosity was the main thing, you know, because remember, in the school, we are always told, open your book to page number 26. When I opened my book to page number 26, the book opened, but my mind closed, because there was nothing to ignite my curiosity, to sustain my curiosity. That is why people like Manish Jain are so important, because they are talking curiosity. They are sustaining curiosity. And then we decided that the pedagogy would be integrated subject learning. So with the ASK is an acronym in our school. It is also a manifestation of the curiosity, and it stands for application, skill, and knowledge. And when I ask you, I get the understanding. We also have tasks. We have a lot of trips, application, skill, and knowledge. That's how we do. And we have the tag. That's the Talented and Gifted Children's Program. Every school does remedial teaching. But what about those other set of children who are on the other side of the spectrum? So that's how we do. And we have the multiple intelligences because, next slide, please. This is the multiple intelligence learning hub that we have. And this is something anybody and everybody can do. We may have done this with the help of material which is a little difficult to get, but this can be made with mud also. It can be made with straw and mud. So it's not a big deal. Anybody can do it anywhere. Next one, please. And this is how we have made it with the multiple intelligences, because, next one, please. So there are 8 intelligences and 8 ways that children can learn and more. So if I can't learn the way you teach, will you teach me the way I can learn? I'm sure every child says that. I have been a sports person. I played hockey for Maharashtra. And let me tell you that I learned best when I was taught through sports, through acting, because I've been an actress also. until my mother said, "Beti ko actress banaoge kya?" And then my father decided to put a stop and not send me to IIFT. So what I'm trying to say over here is that, next please, we have to start with how we make our unit plans, our lesson plans. It begins from there. Next one. And I'm going to quickly show you. You can skip the first two because this is how we send it to parents. Next one, please. And next one. So we send signatures, which books they should read. These are suggested books, etc. Yes, here we come. And so the unit plan itself has everything, and this goes to parents because we are the professionals, but they also need to know how to teach at home. And you can see over here the objectives we all write, the aids and activities, but how to make it integrated subject. So you can see that we put in the art bit of it, we put in the science, we put in the linguistic, the logical, and the MI. So it's symbolically represented, and the SDGs. It's very important that the 17 SDGs be a part of it. Next one, please. Thank you. And next one. So the application skill and knowledge, you can see how we've integrated it over here and made sure that they are learning in different ways. Next one. They're also designing their own thermometers. And then we come to the VUCA world where there are problems. We use design thinking. So you can see a link of a video, and this is the July one, which I'm showing you. And when they look at that video, there is a problem in that video, which then they are supposed to do design thinking on it. Of course, beginning with observation, then empathy, then ideation, then prototype, testing. We know that there are 5, but we also add the observation bit of it. And then you see the SDGs. Next one. We'll keep moving fast now because there's a paucity of time. Then it culminates in the report which the teachers send every week, but it's made on a daily basis. And you can see how it has been replicated in the report which we heads get at the end of the week. So there is this sync that we look at. And please keep moving very fast. So you can just see how the SDGs have been put. Next one, please. And next one, so the teacher teaching, of course, now it's virtual. So we begin with the curiosity with concept initiation. That's where the curiosity has to be initiated. Then we go to concept elucidation. Next one, please. And then we have concept closure. So you can see all of it, the concept initiation, the concept elucidation. Next one, please. And these are the reports which come with all the evidences. Please keep going. And you can see the children in the classes, of course, when they're on campus, it's the closed circuit cameras which help us. And next one, please. And the VUCA that they have done. Next one, please. Next one, please. So just catch glimpses. Next one, please. Right. Here are the experiments that's happening. Now you may ask, and just keep going. Just keep going. Thank you. So you may ask, now the teachers have done their bit. Now what about the children learning? There's a
Rupaji, only 2 minutes left.
Okay, thank you. So how do the children do it? There's a very nice story that I heard. A 9-year-old boy told his friend that I taught my dog to whistle. The friend said, "You taught your dog to whistle?" So he said, "Yeah, I taught my dog to whistle." And whilst he was showing off, his little puppy runs into the room. And his friend says, "Oh, there's your puppy. Ask it to whistle." And the boy says, "I said I had taught it. I didn't say he had learned it." And that is where the crux is in change. We teach, but have they learned? For that, please keep going quickly so that I can show you what we do in the school. We have the TAG program wherein the children teach the peers. And that peer teaching is one of the aspects of TAG program. They also make question papers. They also revise the syllabus. Each year our syllabus is revised according to the students. And then we have what we call the pedagogical reinforcement. So you can see the question papers. Yes, please keep going. And the pedagogical reinforcement is our revision, where parents come and sit in the class as students. You can, yes, next one. So this was online, so they have written the questions online. And whosoever's question is selected for the question paper, we give them recognition and maybe a Cadbury, they are happy with that. And of course, these are testimonials which I cannot give you now. Next one, please, because of paucity of time. So these are the newsletters that they write. Everything is done by students. Next one, please. And next one is the integrated book we use with all the subjects. Next one, please. And this is the way we have done the integration of the subjects. When 15 years back the school began, we had a discussion at the managerial level. Then we talked, the head of school talked to the middle order and higher level teachers. And then we talked, of course, there is no distinction between higher and lower, but I meant to say those who are headmistresses, etc. Then the decision was implemented and we made a chart. Next one, please. You will see how we made a chart and everybody made the integrated subject curriculum. Next one, please. This is how every teacher was supposed to put it. And then the monitoring came. And the repeat was done for the next theme then. Next one, please. I may take just 1 or 2 minutes over my time, so please pardon me. So there is a story. Now this can become a story for environment, for social science, for linguistic languages, for mathematics, proportion, number of little stones which will be required to raise the level. And then we have in our school not experiential but transversal education. And I'm glad Dr. Arunav brought this up, because like Shark Tank, we have a project where we do entrepreneurial startups. So and what is transversal? It's knowledge plus experience plus employability skills. And we have also what we call apprenticeship program where they go for summer jobs. And quickly I'll show you the pictures of, next one please. And this is all that the talented and gifted, here is the peer teaching happening. Next one please. And again, this is the parents walk-in that I talked about, revision happening, and parents, you can see the parents doing exercises, the parents doing quiz, many things, the way the children are taught, and these are the feedbacks, testimonials. Next one, please.
Rupa, kindly conclude.
Yes. So this is how we do the whole thing. So we need to remember as we begin, next one, please. And these are the books they have written. And the last one, I think the last one is the next slide. I would like to end with saying that I think we are in the right direction. These 5 books were written in the first 6 months of the pandemic by our students, sold on Amazon, sold on Apple Store. And I felt, yes, I think our children, and there was 8 books written, 5 individual books, 3 in groups. So challenges make life interesting, overcoming it makes life meaningful. And these were the stumbling blocks that we faced, but we overcame them, and I'm sure anybody and everybody can do this. The National Education Policy, let's be ready for change. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rupaji. Thanks for actually highlighting the importance of curiosity and wild thinking. No? Because what we have realized over a period of time when I discuss with large number of students, ideas are killed actually by either parents at home or teachers in school. Because once students are going to them with good ideas, वो बोलते हैं इधर उधर की बात मत कर, बड़ा बड़ा बात मत कर, मार्क्स कितना मिला वो दिखा. You know? So we have to change. We have to go ahead. We have to go move forward. We have to change the goalpost, and I believe that the next presentation by Manish is going to be a great in that direction. So Manish, over to you.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and it's just a pleasure. Maybe you can spotlight me, because then I can show whatever the presentation is right from this screen. So if you can spotlight my window or my camera, the team, that'll be great. So great, wonderful. No, just spotlight me. Don't start the presentation. If you can, just spotlight the camera.
Sir, in the live version, you're already spotlighted.
Okay, great. So thank you so much. I'm going to talk about just very quickly within the 15 minutes. Hopefully, will be the reason I said spotlight, because there are some things that I wanted to show, and we will start with just 2 or 3 things. My name is Manish Jain, and I'm talking from this place called IIT Gandhinagar. You see this river Sabarmati, and there is a small building, and in that there is this lab called Center for Creative Learning, which you should see right here. This is how our lab looks like. Unfortunately or fortunately, not like any conventional lab. And this is where we do jod, tod, jugaad, tugad, whatever. And the 3 most important things that I'm going to talk about are right here. And I'm feeling a little bit of pressure because of this time constraint. But most importantly, and I'm very happy that NEP is focusing in the right direction. And I think for innovation to happen in our schools, these in my opinion, these are the 3 things that we need to focus on. First, we need to bring back that gleam in the eyes of our children and our students. वो आंखों की चमक किसी तरह से वापस आनी चाहिए, और मुझे लगता है वो खाली वैक्यूम में नहीं आएगी. उसके लिए कुछ छोटी छोटी चीजें हाथों से करके जब हमारे बच्चे करेंगे, जब हमारे टीचर्स करेंगे, तो वो जो आंखों की चमक है वो वापस आएगी. और उसके मैं कुछ 2-3 मिनट में आपको उदाहरण दिखाना चाहूंगा. That is what is the most important thing. And then we will have to work on things that make a child and teacher wonder. ऐसे सवाल जो दिमाग की बत्ती जला दे, रातों की नींद और दिन का चैन उड़ा दे. नीरज चोपड़ा ने 36 डिग्री पर भाला क्यों फेंका? एक तो 55 डिग्री पर क्यों गोला दागती है, जबकि हमारी किताब 45 डिग्री पर फेंकने को कहती है. The book talks about throwing at 45 degrees to get the maximum range, whereas Neeraj Chopra threw 36 degrees to win a gold, and the gun hits at 55 degrees. Now, this, if imagine if this is the question that stays in somebody's mind, then I think it is, we were giving them, and I'll show you a few examples. तो ऐसे सवाल जो सोचने के लिए मजबूर कर दें. और तीसरा, इन चीजों के बारे में बात करें जो हमारी जिंदगी से जुड़े हुए हों. जैसे इसको आपको शायद अगर इस तस्वीर में दिख रहा है, एक साइड में एक कॉफी का मग दिख रहा है, इसमें एक दिल की फोटो बनी हुई है. एंड दिस इज नथिंग स्पेशल, दिस इज कॉल्ड अ कार्डॉइड. कभी भी आपने चाय का अगर पिया है और आधा चाय का और एक साइड से लाइट जल रही है, तो आपको ये फोटो दिखाई देगी. एंड इमेजिन इफ दिस इज व्हाट वी स्टार्ट विद इन आवर क्लासेस, and then talk about whatever else that we talk about. Of course, बच्चे सारी चाय खुद पी जाएंगे, which is great. But other than that, I think that cardioid that forms on a half coffee mug is something that, and so let me just take a few minutes and give you that example. सबसे पहले आंखों की चमक कैसे आएगी? हाथों से कुछ काम करने से आएगी. हाथों में मेरे सामने एक बहुत छोटा सा, बहुत ही सरल एक खिलौना है, स्ट्रॉ से बनाया है, और इधर से हवा निकलती है और दूसरे से. समय ज्यादा नहीं है, बताएंगे नहीं कैसे, आप आराम से वेब पर देख सकते हैं. सोचिए, ये हाथ में लिया, मुंह से फूंक मारी, पंखा घूमने लग गया. हाथ हटा दिया, नहीं घूमेगा. एक छेद से घूमेगा क्या? 2 छेद से कैसे घूमेगा? मैं फटाफट उदाहरण देने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं. ये आपको लगेगा पता नहीं क्या ले, कछुए जैसा लगता है, लेकिन ये एक यहां पर गोला और एक डंडी है. ये एक ऐसी डिवाइस हमने बनाई है जो किसी भी कोण को 3 भागों में बांट सकती है. एनी एंगल इट विल ट्राइसेक्ट इन 3. एंड एक छोटा सा खिलौना है, ये मैं चला के दिखा सकता हूं. इसमें ये बॉल घूम रही है, इसके ऊपर अगर मैं ये कागज रख दिया, तो ये कागज जो गोला है ये हवा में लटक जाएगा. अब देखिए, ये जो गोला है ये हवा में तैर रहा है, और बनाने के लिए क्या लगा? एक साधारण सी बैटरी, एक गेंद और एक ये गोला, और ये उड़ के चला गया. जस्ट मैं दिखा पाऊं आपको, ये हवा में लटक जाता है. Now imagine if we can levitate, if we have a child and teacher make this thing. सबसे जरूरी है कि क्या शिक्षक की आंखों में वो चमक है, और वो चमक कैसे आएगी? इन तरह की, इस प्रकार की चीजें बना कर आएगी. छोटा सा एक इंजेक्शन की सिरिंज जिसमें चुंबक डाली और एलईडी लगा दी और ये जलने लग जाती है ऊपर नीचे घुमाने से. Now that is what I'm talking about. Simple things which and an example of that, let me just take you to my slide to show you. This is what I'm talking about.
संसाधनों की कमी खिलौनों और खुशियों से दूर नहीं, खिलौनों और खुशियों से दूर नहीं कर सकती। दो स्ट्रॉ एक रबर और आंखों की फ्री, एक तरफ से सीटी, दूसरी तरफ से स्प्रे, दूसरी तरफ से स्प्रिंकलर और 3 in 1.
And so that was the example that I thought I'll give you. And then you know, these lamps, these paper lamps that we have made, many all these things can be done with just a simple simple piece of paper. This car, when it moves, draws a sine wave, and this is something we did last week. Imagine.
चालू रख के छोड़ देना है और फिर ये 4 शीशों को ऐसे अरेंज करना है ताकि हमें एक रेगुलर पेंटागन मिल जाए और बीच में सुंदर सा तारा।
और मैं यहाँ पे भी आपको कुछ नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है, लेजर लाइट जल रही है, लेकिन इसके ऊपर चौक का बुरादा डाल दें तो देखिए क्या होता है। And this is something we did last week. And so that brings me to the next thing that I wanted to communicate, which is हाथों से तो चीजें कर ली, लेकिन क्या हम ऐसे सवाल अपने बच्चों को दे पाएंगे या टीचर्स को दे पाएंगे जो दिमाग की बत्ती जलाते। Derived curiosity, which is what Rupa was talking about, non-intuitive, which makes you think. And let me show you this half a minute, film. This happened about 2 years ago in our lab. This is a grade 6, I mean, छठी का बच्चा है ये। देखिए क्या होता है। So now imagine this simple syringe, air gauze, और बच्चा, this is a live thing, somebody captured it on the phone. बच्चा कह रहा है ये गिरनी चाहिए थी लेकिन क्यों नहीं गिरी। आप जाइए अपना सामान लेकर घर जाइए और सोच कर अगले दिन आइए। Now imagine if these are the questions that we can give. इस तरह से अगर हम करेंगे तो मैं जैसे दिखा रहा था कि भाले का ज्ञान, तोप के गोले का विज्ञान और प्रोजेक्टाइल के सिद्धांत का समाधान, वो तीनों होंगे। That is what I wanted to sort of show, and beautiful things, right? These are the questions. So this is a simple sprinkler. Can you see that the water grows in a circle? But actually if you observe closely, it is actually going in a straight line. और इसमें इस तरह की फिसल पट्टी बनाए तो कौन सा कंचा सबसे पहले रेस जीतेगा? ये सारे खिलौने हमने अपनी लैब में बनाए हैं और मुझे कहते हुए और बुलाने इसलिए काफी उत्सुकता भी है कि अगर हम इस तरह के सवाल अपने बच्चों को दे पाए, अपने टीचर्स के सामने ये सवाल रख पाए, हाथों से जुड़ी हुई चीजें कर दें। 1 मिनट में ये फोटो दिखा दूं। आप सभी लोगों ने ये देखा होगा, जमीन पर कुछ नीम की पत्तियां पड़ी हुई हैं और इफ यू टेक अ मिनट एंड यू काउंट द नंबर ऑफ लीव्स दैट टच द लाइन एंड डोंट, दैट विल गिव यू द रेशियो ऑफ पाई। पाई हमेशा गोले में नहीं होता, सीधी डंडियों में भी होता है। And that is the beauty. This is something that was invented. And the third thing that I'll come back and quickly finish is we'll have to do things that are related to life. हमारी जिंदगी से जुड़े हुए हों। जैसे ये क्रिकेट का मैदान, इसमें मैं ये कैच तो नहीं दिखाऊंगा जडेजा का, बट ये वाली चीज दिखा देता हूं। जब क्रिकेट की बॉल में कोई भी बंदा छक्का मारता है तो जो अमाउंट ऑफ डिस्टेंस द बॉल फॉल्स इज ऑलवेज 5, जैसे यहां पर आपको दिखाई दे रहा है। पहले सेकंड में 5 मीटर गिरेगी, दूसरे में 15, तीसरे में 25, चौथे में 35। दिस इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ अ पैराबोला। कोई भी बच्चा क्रिकेट से इसको जोड़ सकता है। सिंपल सा दूसरा उदाहरण, एक साइकिल ले, अगर इसके पेडल पर नीचे धागा बांध दे तो साइकिल पीछे जाएगी कि आगे जाएगी, करके देख सकते हैं। और जो 3 इडियट्स में उसने सवाल ही पूछा था, व्हाट इज अ रियल मशीन, उसके ऊपर चर्चा कर सकते हैं। जैसे ये वाली चीज अगर आपको ये बच्चे दिखाई दे रही, जीसीबी की मशीन है, ये असली में मशीन भी है या ये मशीन नहीं है, इसके ऊपर चर्चा कर सकते हैं। एंड दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट विल रिलेट आवर थिंग्स टू लाइफ। जिंदगी से जुड़ी हुई चीजें अगर हम अपने स्कूल में कर जाएं, उससे इनोवेशन, उससे क्रिएटिविटी आएगी, क्योंकि दिन भर हमें वो सारी चीजें दिखाई देती है। मैं अंत में आपको कुछ उदाहरण दे देता हूं जिस तरह की चीजें हमने यहाँ पर बनाई हैं। कुछ खिलौने जैसे आपको दिख रहे होंगे, करीब 1000 अलग अलग चीजें, अलग अलग तरीके की चीजें बनाई हैं। एक और मुझे कहते हुए भी हर्ष हो रहा है कि दुनिया, भारत में अगर कहीं पर आपको ये मशीन दिखेगी तो यहीं पर दिखेगी। ये मशीन है जिसका नाम है एनिग्मा मशीन, हमने बनाई है IIT गांधीनगर, पूरे भारत में और कहीं नहीं है। दिस इज द मशीन दैट वाज द रीजन व्हाई द फर्स्ट कंप्यूटर वाज इन्वेंटेड। Computer was not invented to play PUBG. It was invented to save lives. Second World War ended 2 years early. 2 million lives were saved because this machine, the code need to be broken. और ये हमने जब मशीन बनाई, इसको, ये कंप्यूटर की जननी है, इसके कारण कंप्यूटर बना। कंप्यूटर साइंस पढ़ाएं तो अगर ये मशीन देखकर बताएंगे तो एक अलग तरीके की जान और स्फूर्ति आती है उसके बारे में। एंड दिस टुक अस अबाउट 6 months टू मेक 1500 मूविंग पार्ट्स। इंजीनियरिंग, कंप्यूटर साइंस, मैथ, सबका एक साथ जुड़ाव है इस मशीन में। अगली मैं एक दिखा देता हूं, ये कार्ड्स हमने बनाए थे, सॉर्टिंग कार्ड, रामायण के कार्ड हैं। रामायण के कार्ड डंडी से सॉर्ट कर सकते हैं। एक कलाकार मशीन है, तरह तरह के पैटर्न्स बनाती है। एक सेकेंड में मैं दिखा देता हूं, आवाज मैंने बंद कर दी है। एंड वी आर कंबाइनिंग 3D प्रिंटर, स्पाइरोग्राफ टेक्नोलॉजी, इसको अगर टेक्निक कहें, यूनिक चीजें हमने यहां पर करी है। एंड इस सब को करके हमने लास्ट ईयर एक प्रोग्राम करा था 30-30 स्टेम CBSE के साथ मिलकर, 26 सेशन, और हमारे को काफी सारा उसमें प्रोत्साहन मिला। करीब 1 करोड़ लोगों ने उसको देखा और बहुत ही आनंद आया उसमें। द ओनली गोल दैट वी हैड इज, अपने पाठ्यक्रम को क्या हम जिंदगी का तड़का दे सकते हैं? Can we make our curriculum engaging and inspiring by doing things that are in and around our lives, which is what NEP actually talks about. So the way to do things, in my opinion, implementing NEP is 1, make our things experiential. 2, can we ask interesting questions? And 3, can we relate it to the life? These are some of the episodes that we did there. और मैं आपको अंत में ले जाने के बाद ये सारे हमने चीजों के ऊपर चर्चा करी। देखिए, क्रिकेट के ऊपर, पाई के ऊपर, कीड़ों के ऊपर, स्पोर्ट्स के ऊपर जो रूपा जी कह रही थी, पाई, लाइफ ऑफ माइक्रोज, मिस्ट्रीज ऑफ कैंडल, कागज की करामात, रोटी कपड़ा और मकान। और फिर इस तरह से जब ये 15 फुट की डोम है जो बनाई बच्चों ने, 15 फुट की सरकंडे, ये जो डंडे होते हैं बांस के डंडे, 1500 एंड टाई बेल्ट्स, 25 feet dome. It took about 5 to 8 hours to finish. So with that, this is what we are looking for, we are aiming for, to bring back that gleam. This लड़की की आंखों में जो चमक है वो वापस लाने की कोशिश है. This is what the lab in IIT Gandhi, the only kind of such a lab that exists in higher education institutes. We are hoping that we can have similar labs in various colleges. This is where we are IITGN, and you can sort of look at it. So I had lots of things that I wanted to show. अंत में एक छोटी सी चीज दिखा देता हूँ, और मुझे लगता है ये अगर घड़ी, मेरे पास एक साधारण घड़ी है, 2 सेकंड लगे थे, मुझे लगता है हर स्कूल में, हर क्लास में, हर घर में कुछ खास बात है इस घड़ी में. एक तो कहीं पे भी 12, 1, 2, 3 कुछ नहीं दिख रहे, मुझे नहीं पता इसमें 12 कहाँ है, और इसकी तीनों डंडियां बिल्कुल बराबर हैं. हमने घड़ी खोल के काट के तीनों डंडियां बराबर कर दी. आपको नहीं पता इसमें घड़ी सेकंड की कौन सी है, मिनट की कौन सी है घड़ी, और टाइम आप इसमें देखकर क्या टाइम बता सकते हैं. किसी ने आइंस्टाइन की चर्चा करी थी, रूपा जी ने. दिस इज द क्लॉक दैट समबडी प्रेजेंटेड आइंस्टाइन एंड आस्क्ड दैट क्वेश्चन इन 1918, कैन यू टेल द टाइम. सो इमेजिन इफ दिस इज द क्लॉक दैट वी हैंड इन एवरी स्कूल्स. आई थिंक इनोवेशन होगा, क्रिएटिविटी होगी. थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर कॉलिंग मी हियर.
Thank you, Manish ji, for this very exciting presentation. I think a large number of institutes who are listening to this presentation will certainly learn from it and would like to implement some of the strategies which you are implementing or which you are suggesting. They can get in touch with you. I think you have already given your contact details. So I will request all of you, all of the viewers, to actually get in touch with Manish ji if you want to take this discussion forward. अभी मैं संतोष जी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वो उनका प्रेजेंटेशन स्टार्ट करें, जहां उन्होंने भी इनोवेटिव अप्रोचेस एक्चुअली इंप्लीमेंट किए हैं उनके स्कूल में, जिससे हम सीख सकते हैं. सो संतोष जी, ओवर टू यू.
धन्यवाद सर, सादर प्रणाम. मैं छत्तीसगढ़ गरियाबंद जिले से हूँ. जब हमारी स्कूल कोविड के समय से स्कूल बंद हो गया तो बच्चों बच्चों की छुट्टी होगी, बच्चों को पढ़ाई जारी रखना हमारे लिए एक चुनौती था, परंतु हमने उसमें हार नहीं मानी और कुछ शिक्षकों के साथ मिलकर हमने शिक्षकों का एक प्रोफेशनल लर्निंग कम्युनिटी बनाया, जिसमें हमने कुछ सक्रिय शिक्षकों को साथ रखा, उनके साथ मीटिंग रखकर सर नेक्स्ट स्लाइड शिक्षकों के साथ में मीटिंग रखकर उनको बताया कि आप सब में अलग अलग गुण हैं और आप अपने गुणों को एक दूसरे के साथ शेयर कीजिए, ताकि हम एक दूसरे के गुणों को एक साथ रखकर बच्चों के लिए कुछ विशेष कर सकें। इसके लिए हर माह को चर्चा पत्र जारी किया जाता है और उस चर्चा पत्र के माध्यम से हम 5 लक्ष्यों को निर्धारित कर हर महीने बच्चों को छोटा छोटा लक्ष्य देते हैं और उन लक्ष्यों के आधार पर उनको काम किया जाता है। इसी में है कि हमने पीएलसी के माध्यम से सर नेक्स्ट स्लाइड सर, ये नेक्स्ट सर, पीएलसी के माध्यम से हमने बिग बुक बनाया। बिग बुक बनाने का उद्देश्य ये था कि हम बच्चों का स्कूल तो नहीं लग रहा है, परंतु हम मोहल्ला क्लास ले रहे हैं और मोहल्ला क्लास में हमारे साथ सभी कक्षाओं के बच्चे एक साथ हैं, जहाँ कक्षा 1 से लेकर 8 तक, और सभी बच्चों को एक शिक्षक होने के साथ साथ एक सभी विषयगत पढ़ा पाना संभव नहीं था। इसलिए उनकी सुविधा के लिए हम पीएलसी प्रोफेशनल लर्निंग शिक्षकों के साथ मिलकर एक बिग बुक तैयार किया, जिसमें उसको परिवेशी ज्ञान नाम दिया गया, लोकल से ग्लोबल। आपका जो परिवेश में है उसको शामिल करते हुए उनके नामकरण, जिसको हमारी बोल भाषा में क्या कहते हैं, हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं, अंग्रेजी में क्या कहते हैं, ऐसे धीरे परिचय कराया। उनका उचित संबंध जोड़िए, ये तरह तरह से उसको चित्र के साथ, और उसमें कुछ उन बच्चों का भी चित्र शामिल किया गया जो उसमें काम कर रहे थे। जैसे कि जैन सर ने बताया कि बच्चों की चेहरे मुस्कान, तो वही मुस्कान देखने के लिए मुस्कुराते बच्चे का भी हमने इसमें चित्र लगाया, जो बहुत काफी अच्छा रहा। वही साथ साथ में सर हमने बिग बुक में एक थीम जोड़ा, हमारे आसपास की खोज। बच्चों को तो देश के बड़े बड़े ऐतिहासिक स्थल है, धार्मिक है, प्राकृतिक स्थल है,